Welcome to the Resilience Project podcast. I'm Julie Brumley, your host. I'm a trauma-informed adoptee coach and somatic healing guide. After walking through my own deep abandonment wounds, I now help adult adoptees move from feeling lost and disconnected to experiencing profound self-belonging. I know what it is like to carry the weight of abandonment, to feel stuck in patterns of longing, adapting, and searching for belonging. My own healing has taught me this. The answers aren't out there. They've been buried within me all along. And now I'm here to guide you home to yourself. This isn't just another podcast of stories told. It's a space to feel the stories our bodies have carried for decades. A place where adoptees can find belonging, not by performing or perfecting, but by gently turning inward. Each episode explores the somatic side of adoption, the sensations, the memories, the truths that live beneath our words. You'll hear reflections, conversations, and embodied practices to help you reconnect with the wisdom your body's been holding all along. Because resilience isn't about pushing through, it's about coming home to yourself. Join us. Welcome back, everybody, to the podcast. It is so great to be with you. I had a very interesting weekend. This was supposed to have been recorded a couple of days ago. I was planning on it, and then my hard drive decided to die. So that was fun. Not that that really matters, but it's definitely been an interesting journey in learning about myself. And I'm going to kind of give you an idea as to why that is. So today's episode, we're going to be talking about trust. And this is one of the things when I pulled my Resilience Project Facebook group, I asked them, what are your top, I think I said top 3 things that are the hardest for you? And we've already talked about identity. We've talked about shame. And we've talked about loss, and those were some of the top. And then trust came in a close second to those top 3. And so we're going to talk about that today. I wanted to share about how this weekend caused me to realize how much more I can actually trust myself. So it was really interesting because I was in Phoenix for Thanksgiving, and I drove the 4.5 hours back on Saturday. There were a lot of things that actually happened on Saturday that were really heavy that I was holding. And when I got home and opened up my computer at the end of my night to do the budgeting that I do every single night, my computer decided to die. Like I said, my hard drive was kaput. And I messaged my boys and I was like, help me, sent them screenshots. And they were like, maybe ask ChatGPT and it'll tell you. I mean, both of them were like, yeah, I think it's torched. And so basically ChatGPT told me, yeah, I need to take it to the Geek Squad. So what I found interesting about this whole situation, y'all, was old me would have, 3 years ago me, 4 years ago me would have lost my mind. I would have cried. I would have felt totally anxious. I would have felt like my world was falling apart. I would have lost it. But that's not what happened. What happened was I just felt overwhelming sense of peace. Like, it's going to be okay. I have no control over this. I'll take it to the Geek Squad tomorrow. I looked, found out that they opened at 9:00 on Sunday morning, took it directly to them, had a smile on my face when I went. There was no stress at all. And I was like, old Julie, meet new Julie. This is crazy. Like, who is this person? And it was this really cool experience for me being able to actually hold that old version of myself and with understanding and compassion and say to her, I know how hard it was for you to trust anyone, yourself, anyone outside of yourself, because of the experiences that you've had, the ways that you've been betrayed, the ways that you have not felt that you could trust even your own inner voice. So no wonder that you felt the way that you would have felt when something like this would have happened before. And then I was able to hold with honor and awe and respect and love this new version of myself that was able to just trust that everything would be okay, because it's not going to impact who I am. It's an outside circumstance that I have zero control over. So why allow that to impact my peace? So here's why I'm talking about this. We're going to talk a lot about Brene Brown again tonight and actually this is going to be released in the morning on Thursday. But I'm recording this at night. We are going to continue using her analogies because they're just so good. When she talks about trust, I will actually share a reel link in my show notes about this, but she has a marble jar theory that has to do with this. And she talks a lot about how trust is built slowly over time, one marble at a time. And once the jar becomes full, that person has earned the trust, Like, we need to look for friends whose jars are full of marbles, is basically what she said. But I would even go as far to say we also need to allow ourselves to do the same thing for ourselves. That self-trust is where this begins. And she actually has a quote that helps me with this. So being able to trust others really begins with being able to trust ourselves. That's the point that I am making here. And one of the quotes that I use a lot in what I teach that she is quoted saying is, practicing self-love means learning how to trust ourselves, to treat ourselves with respect, and to be kind and affectionate toward ourselves. This is a tall order given how hard most of us are on ourselves. And this comes directly from her book, The Gifts of Imperfection, which I talked about last week and said, y'all, you need to get this book. It's changed my life. So I know that I can talk to myself in ways that I would never even consider talking to another person. How many of us are quick to think, I am so stupid, or I am such an idiot? I don't know how many times I said that out loud to other people about myself. So much so that I really began to believe it. And I've talked recently about how our bodies are made 70% of water. And there's an experiment that was done. Right now, I can't think of his name. It's going to bother me. I just actually posted something about this. But our bodies are 70% water. And the words that we speak to ourselves impact the composition of that water. The importance of this, and I'm going to try and find the guy's name so y'all can look this up, is how we speak to ourselves, like I've said, truly matters. Calling ourselves an idiot isn't going to help us. It's actually going to harm us. Dr. Masaru Emoto is the guy's name, and he has done an experiment on water that is fascinating, y'all. And basically what it shows is that when we speak negative words, or when we talk in an evil way or an ungrateful way or a mean way, the structure of water changes into something that is unrecognizable. But when we speak beautifully, when we say things like, I am grateful, I love you, when we speak kindly, the water molecules turn into beautiful things that look like snowflakes. So if that's really happening, we need to consider how we're talking to ourselves if we're made up of 70% of water. The way we talk to ourselves begins to develop that trust for ourselves. Just like calling someone we love stupid or an idiot would be incongruent with practicing love, taking or talking like that to ourselves takes a serious toll on ourselves. We begin to not trust ourselves. So we need to learn how to develop intimacy with ourselves. It's not something that is usually patterned growing up, especially from my time. Intimacy with self, did we ever talk about that? No, not really. Feelings were scary when I was growing up. So here's a strategy that has really helped me get in touch in a deeper way with myself and learn to trust the things that are going on within me. Things like notice what brings a smile to your face during the day and write it down or put it in a voice memo to yourself. Wow, this situation that just happened really brought a smile to my face, and I actually could put a marble into my own jar, or I'm going to put a marble into my friend's jar. So, for example, when I moved here, it was the first time I have ever lived alone. I mean, I have my dog Murphy with me, but I've never really been alone. And I received multiple packages from my friends back in Virginia and Maryland that just without knowing that they were doing anything, they just randomly sent me stuff. And it was so thoughtful because they were considering me being alone, being in a new place. And so they would send me things to encourage me, things that I liked, snacks that I liked, a shirt that talked about being a somatic coach, just really sweet things to show that I was being thought of. That is me taking a marble and putting it in their jar. Those things that people do for us to show how much they love us and how much they consider us produces trust for us in them. The same happens for us in ourselves. And what I mean by that is, as you go through your day, really pay attention in real time what does bring a smile to your face, and note that, and note what happens in your body. Does your heart feel warm? Does your heart beat a little bit faster? Does that smile just make you feel expansive and want to go out and run in the fields like the hills are alive with the sound of music? What does it make you think? This is beginning to develop your own sense of trust with yourself. And it helps us be able to stay, as we begin to practice this, stay in those high vibing emotions that we do actually have. We've talked about feelings and naming them, being able to really spend time looking for those things that bring a smile to our face, the things that make us feel warm inside. That is the beginning of us learning how to experience higher frequencies in emotions. And I'm going to talk more about that in the future, give you more instruction on that. So the other thing I would say, the first thing is notice what brings a smile to your face. The second thing is be curious about the things that actually light you up, that brighten your day or bring a flutter to your heart. And notice them without judgment. I mean, it could be something as simple as Murphy coming over and putting his little paw on my lap because he wants love. That makes me happy. Being with him lights me up, and actually giving him a hug releases oxytocin, which is a connecting hormone. So, of course, I would want to have more of that. Be curious about that. Notice your body sensations like I talked about before. If you feel your heart or your stomach flutter, pay attention. Lay a hand over that part of your body, your heart, your stomach. Affirm the sensation, because what you're doing is you're letting your body know she's paying attention. She's listening. She's no longer ignoring. This is the beginning of developing self-trust. So after learning about what brings you joy, what lights you up, what brings sensations to your body, then what I would advise, suggest, encourage is do more of this. Choose one of those things and do it every day. It's pick one and commit to doing it on a frequent, consistent basis. So it could be something as simple as, I'm going to give Murphy a hug every day because I love how that makes me feel. Something as simple as that. It could be something as simple as when I notice that my heart is needing attention, it's feeling heavy, I'm going to lay my hand over it. This is you beginning to develop self-trust. It starts with you. The other thing that is really, really cool that I'm going to share with you guys is an image that comes from Brene Brown's book called Braving the Wilderness. I'm having a hard time with my computer right now. Give me a second. My mouse has been acting up. So here we go. Hopefully you guys will be able to see this to present it. Okay. Sorry that took so long, y'all. So this is an acronym that has really, really helped me from Brene Brown's book, Braving the Wilderness. So if you're on YouTube, you're going to be able to see this, but I'm going to do my best to describe it. But this is how you know whether someone is trustworthy. This is how you evaluate it, but this is also how you evaluate whether you are being trustworthy. It spells out, again, we have an acrostic, y'all. It spells out the word braving from her book, Braving the Wilderness, another book that's wonderful, by the way. So the B stands for boundaries. So people that are trustworthy are people who have boundaries. The way that she describes it is how you can love yourself and others simultaneously. What I say and add is without losing yourself in the process, which as adoptees, we can do because of our people-pleasing nature. The R is reliability. It's do what you say you'll do. So is this person following through? Because with that, they get a marble in their jar. A is accountability. Own your mistakes. Apologize and make amends when you do. That's accountability. The A is accountability. The V is vault. This one, I was like, what is that when I first heard this? But it makes so much sense. Keep things confidential that I tell you, and you don't share things with anyone else that are not yours to share. That's vault. It's important. That's what builds trust. That's another marble. The I is integrity. I love this phrase that she has in her book. It's choose courage over comfort, what's right over what's fun, fast, or easy, and practicing values rather than professing them. Y'all, this is huge. And I bolded this in my presentation because we can profess that we have values, but if we aren't actually practicing them and living by them, then we're not going to feel aligned within ourselves and we're not going to trust ourselves. And neither will anybody else. So this is really, really important. The N is non-judgmental. So we can ask for what we need. We can share how we feel without judgment, self-judgment too. This means, I just said that, without judging yourself for needing help. It's okay to ask for help when you need it. The G is generosity. Extend the most generous interpretation possible to the intentions, words, and actions of others. If something goes wrong, you don't first think it's intentional and filter it through that old filter. You work from an assumption of generosity because our perceptions a lot of times can be skewed because we have a hard time even trusting ourselves. So how can we trust others' intentions? That's why I started with self-trust first and learning and building that first. So that acronym is the Braving acronym, and it's something that has really helped me. So when I am moving into new relationships, I look for these things. And you know what I talked about last week with shame was I talked about bringing shame out of isolation and sharing with those who have earned the right. These are those people who have full marble jars in your life and who have really shown that they are boundaried, reliable, accountable, that they keep confidences, that they have integrity, that they're non-judgmental, and that they're generous. But then also make sure that you curiously and compassionately look at yourself in the same light too. Make sure that you don't become self-critical with this, but just learn by the little steps that I mentioned, what brings a smile to your face, what lights you up. Notice what your body is doing in those moments and attune to it. And as you begin to build that self-trust, you will begin to be able to learn how to trust others. And this is a beautiful thing. It's a skill that I truly believe is so unbelievably important. So that's what I have for you today. I would love to hear any comments or anything that resonated with y'all. Please feel free to DM me on any of my accounts on Facebook, on Instagram. You can also go to YouTube and watch this and comment if you want. I'm also on TikTok. All of my links will be in the show notes. I'll also go ahead and share a screenshot of this or a PDF of the Braving acronym that I just shared with y'all, as well as the reel that I talked about where Brene really goes into her marble jar theory. I think it would be so beneficial for y'all. But the main thing to remember is trust begins with ourselves first. So again, if you have any questions, please feel free to message me. You can even drop trust in my DMs and I'll send you a resource that will help you this week. And I look forward to connecting with y'all soon, and I'll see you next week. Happy Thursday.